and welcome in or welcome back. It's a MonkieMar. Before we get into today's video, please make sure you click the like, the subscribe, and the bell for notifications. Hey guys, welcome in. I know that I said I was not going to touch on Brian Laundrie until he was found, but I am going to touch on what happened today out at the Carlton Reserve because I think they're closing in on possibly finding Brian or remnants of Brian, in my opinion, but hopefully they do. And with that, guys, let's get into it. So this is out of Fox 13, and then after I read a little bit of this article, I have attached the helicopter footage of Canine Diesel was on the ground at the Carlton Reserve on Thursday trying to sniff out the location of Brian Laundrie. He is so cute. My goodness, look at his face. Northport, Florida. The Canine unit at Pasco County Sheriff's Office has joined in on the search for Brian Laundrie, the sole person of interest in the Gabby Petito case. The agency said Thursday that they are assisting a Northport Police, the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office, and FBI at Carlton Reserve. Canine Diesel is trained to detect human remains, official says. Who let the dogs out? Ooh, ooh, ooh. It is important to note that the canine trainer drives a vehicle that says arson investigation on it, but they have not requested our arson canine or investigators. The trainer simply helps train our HRD canines, according to a statement by the sheriff's office. The canine involved is handled by a Pasco County forensic investigator. That's interesting. He is so cute. The view from Skyfox showed the team on the ground in the reserve Thursday afternoon. Wonder if they found anything. And I wonder if they did find anything, if they would say anything to us. I am going to go check on Twitter real quick and see if Brian Enton or any of them have an update after this happened 8 hours ago. So let me go check and I'll be right back. So this is off a different article, but I have to read this part because I found this part, I don't know whether to laugh. Nothing has been found yet, but Laundrie family attorney Steve Bernalino said last week when asked about the father's involvement that the snake and alligator infested water in the preserve was receding. Hopefully Brian will be located soon. That to me sounds not promising that Brian will be found alive. Yeah, that's definitely a very interesting little statement right there. I could be looking too much into it, but I don't know. Interesting. This was actually out 9:37 p.m. Eastern Time today, 20 minutes ago. Our latest report tonight from Northport, cadaver dogs at the swamp, and Kafinda Affer FBI weighs in on why the FBI and search crews are still there. So let's see what they say. Alright, so Brian Enton does have a report out, which I said, and I found it interesting. Do I agree with the ex-FBI agent and Brian being alive? I just don't feel like he's alive. My opinion though, guys, so let's watch this video. At the very end, it is the Fox coverage from the helicopter. I have put it on 2x speed, so if you want to watch it slower, just go ahead and slow your YouTube player down, guys. And after that, I am going to wrap it up.
Marnie, the swamp seemed to be the center of attention once again today. Law enforcement and search crews were deep inside the reserve. This time, they were with canines. After no action at the Carlton Reserve for days, this morning, car after car of law enforcement arrived. And this was particularly interesting, a canine forensics unit. The Pasco County, Florida Sheriff's Office confirming they were called in by the FBI and are using their human remains detection canine at the reserve.
Again, this is an area they've searched several times in the past. The one thing we can tell you is that The area is drier than it has been. There's some law enforcement in the back of this vehicle.
The 24,000-acre reserve is a difficult place to search, but it's gotten easier over the past week because water levels continue to recede. With less flooding, is it possible investigators now believe they could locate Brian Laundrie's remains? They won't say, but Northport police did tell me less than 1 week ago they believe there's a 50-50 chance Brian is dead or alive.
I don't think that if we were to locate his body in the preserve, that it's going to benefit one way or the other the investigation. It will provide closure for the Laundrie family. I don't think it's obviously going to provide closure for the Petito family because they want answers. They want to know why, how, when, all those important things.
And there has been a lot of speculation over the last several days about whether the Laundrie family attorney, Mr. Bertolino, may know where Brian Laundrie is. We actually texted him that exact question today. We texted him, do you personally know where Brian Laundrie is? And his response today was, no, I do not. Marnie?
Interesting, Brian. Remind us, is this the first time that we have seen canines out at the reserve searching?
It's not, and it's also not the first time we've seen these cadaver dogs out there searching. The sheriff's office reminded us today that they've been called out periodically throughout the search. Today was just another day that the FBI asked for their assistance.
Many want to ask the parents if they know where Brian is tonight. You're outside the home tonight. I'm curious, are police still keeping a close eye, watching that house, and when the parents leave, are they being tailed?
Yeah, it's been quiet out here tonight. The parents haven't left at all today. There's really been no action. There's no marked police cars outside the house, but we do believe there are definitely undercover officers in the area.
Something about that reserve. All right, Brian, thank you. Let's bring in former FBI agent Jennifer Coffendorfer now. Jennifer, thanks for being here as always. So you have said up until now you didn't think that Brian Laundrie was out in that reserve. They keep going back there. So what does the search today and the cadaver dogs tell you?
Well, I still remain skeptical that he is out there, but I do believe because the waters have receded and because they are conducting these very specific grid searches to make sure they search every portion of that reserve, that those waters receding have allowed these officers to go back in and continue to look in areas where he could have possibly been.
The biggest question I see from people on social media who are following this case closely over and over, they're like, what is it about this reserve? Are we missing something? Police and investigators have been really tight-lipped. Based on your experience behind the scenes, what could we be missing here that they may be going after?
Well, this is what I think we're missing. It's not known to the public corroborative information that the FBI, I believe, does have. Something like this. In the phone that they recovered from his room when they did that search, is on that phone perhaps text messages where he discusses this hike or going on this hike. Possibly was there a witness that saw him enter that campground, or perhaps even a witness that took a camera photograph? And could that information probably led to their persistence at searching that reserve?
So it may not be only that his parents said that's where he was going, that's where we knew him to believe, we believe him to have been, right? That might not be the only reason they're out there.
That's correct.
Right.
I think if you look at what the public knows, which is the information's from the parents, he left behind all information that could use to track him. If you look at the fact that the Mustang was left there and then picked back up days later, in other words, how was he supposed to leave the reserve if he was truly there? The late action on the missing person report from the parents, all that would lead the public and myself that he is not there. But I believe they have some evidence showing he is there.
So we're seeing them search. We saw the cadaver dogs come out today. The focus has been on the reserve. But what are the chances, the likelihood that the FBI is searching in places we have no idea that are not as visible?
Very likely. I think the FBI is following up on numerous numerous leads as to where he could be. And I think they're out there working. It's just the media doesn't know where they're at, so it's not being covered.
The big question, you heard the local police say 50-50, they think he's dead or alive. You have said you believe he's alive. Do you still feel that way?
Absolutely.
Why?
I believe he's alive. I believe he's alive again because I don't think that that attorney would be retained by somebody who isn't alive. Number one. Number two, when I watch those parents and look at their demeanor, they are not acting like grieved parents of somebody desperately concerned about the whereabouts of their son. And those two factors lead me to believe he is alive.
What is it about their behavior that stands out to you?
Couple of things. Most recently, the whole lawn mowing scene. While that should normally be benign, it wasn't benign. They had found out, just like the rest of the world, that Gabby Petito was strangled by hands, not by ligature, but by somebody's hands. That should have been so disturbing that their daughter-in-law died this way. And for him to just go out and mow his lawn, I thought was terrible. Another sign that bothers me is all of those flowers that were left on the porch that I've seen when I've personally been out there. They're just left there to die and wilt. If that were me and that was a tribute or something left for my to-be daughter-in-law, I would take care of those flowers. I would plant them if they're plantable. If they weren't, I would bring them in. I would water them. I would care for them. And I just see no signs of any caring from this family.
Human behavior, an interesting thing. As always, Jennifer Coffendorfer, appreciate your insight on this one. Thank you.
Alright guys, drop them comments, drop them opinions. And with that, it is a wrap. I want to thank you all for coming in. Thank you for watching. Please like or dislike whichever you prefer, and subscribe. Everyone have a good day or a good night wherever you are in the world, and stay vigilant. I am out.